Good morning, students. Let us revise the chapter one by one. How do organisms reproduce? So, mainly there are two types of reproduction: asexual and sexual reproduction. I have uploaded many videos of this chapter, how do organisms reproduce. So in this session, we are going to discuss about some of the important terms, important questions which are normally asked in the board exam. And further, if you have any queries, you can ask me. Okay. Now, there are some terms which are related with this topic, and the answers are not very long, but it should be to the point. There are some terms which should be written in the answers. Okay, many times what happens when a simple question is asked, the big mistakes done by the student is that they write the whole process, whole theory, everything, but the exact word which the examiner is expecting is not written in that particular. So what happened? The score get reduced. So let us start with some of the. We have done both sexual and asexual reproduction in plants and obviously in animals also, other organisms. Now, if the question is what is the importance of sexual reproduction or why it is needed? So, what is the need of sexual reproduction? See, when we are talking about sexual reproduction, it means it includes two organisms, okay? Two parents are included. So obviously, DNA of both the parents will be transferred to the offspring. Now here, the DNA of offspring will be the copy of father and mother both. And if we are talking about plant, so both male and reproductive gametes will be there. Now, when we are talking about DNA copying, it is not essential that the exact copy will be formed. There will be variation. Okay, there will be variation. And what is the importance of this variation? Importance is that it increases the chances of survival of organism in drastic condition. Okay, so sexual reproduction, it will increase the survival chance. Now, when variation is taking place, so obviously some improvement is there, but I said some improvement, but it is not essential that that variation will be beneficial for that particular organism. It may or may not be beneficial for that particular organism. Now this is the second question. Whether it can be asked in different ways, whether the variation is beneficial for an organism or justify the statement, or we can ask that variation is not beneficial for an organism but beneficial for a species. Explain. So simple thing that if a particular population I have taken, okay, of suppose bacteria, then in this pond bacteria is there, and let us just estimate that 100 bacteria are there. Out of that 100, suppose 50 have variations and 50 are as it is. Okay, this is not the counting, this is just for the explanation part I have taken that. Okay, so due to various reasons, global warming and different climatic conditions, it may happen that these bacteria which are living in a moderate condition suddenly the temperature of the water increases. Okay, they are living in a pond. The temperature of the water increases. So what will happen? These are variant, 50 are variant and 50 are same, identical, or we can say identical. So they will not survive because they are habitual of this temperature, moderate temperature. But in out of this 50 also, all will not survive. Why? Because variation may be compatible to the temperature or not. So it depends whether the variation which is taking place in that particular organism, that variation is related to that particular climate or not. If it is compatible with that change which is there in the climate, then that the organism will survive, otherwise it will not survive. So it may, again, let us take that 25 they survive and 25 they are not able to survive with the variation, because their variation is not compatible with that particular temperature. So if we are talking about species, then this particular species can be continued with the help of this 25 bacteria. But if I am talking about organism, so here variation is there, but these bacteria are not able to survive. Why? Because the variation which has taken place in this organism, or we have taken bacteria, in these bacteria, that was not compatible with the changes in the climatic condition. It was not compatible with the temperature change. Okay, due to sudden increase in temperature, these bacteria will not survive. But these bacteria, they were compatible due to the variation which has taken place in the DNA. They are compatible with the high temperature, so they will survive. So we can say that variation may or may not be beneficial for a organism, but it is beneficial for the species if the species survive in that condition. Now another question, it can be, what do you mean by inheritance of character? What is DNA? And how DNA copying helps in variation? Now simple thing, inheritance of character, it means the characters carried by chromosome in the nucleus in the form of DNA. Okay, see DNA, what is DNA? DNA is the source of information for making protein. If the information given by DNA is changed, then different types of protein will be formed, which leads to change the body design. Just now I'm talking about the variations. So it may be any type of variation. So DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, it is a source of information for making proteins. And if the information given by DNA is changed, then different types of protein will be formed. So obviously, which will lead to the variation. The copy of DNA molecules will be similar, but may not be absolutely identical to original DNA molecule. This can be asked in any form. See, how the DNA copying is done? Chemical reactions is going on, which leads to the formation of new DNA. Now, when copy of DNA molecules is taking place, then that copy will be similar but not identical. See, there is difference between similar and identical. Identical means exact copy. When we are talking about asexual reproduction, there is a word used as identical, and sometimes it is also termed as clone. Why clone word is used? Because they are identical to their parents. But when we are talking about DNA copying, they are not identical. They may be similar. They are similar to their parents, but not identical. There are some variations. Okay, and that variation is due to the changes in DNA copying. But that may or may not be beneficial, I've told you. So, variation in DNA copying is helpful in the survival of the species. Okay, and sometimes variation in DNA molecules are drastic also. That is, new DNA molecules can't work at all with the cellular apparatus it inherit. Okay, and in this condition, what will happen? The new cell will simply die. It will not survive. See, asexual reproduction. It is a rapid mode of reproduction and mostly it occurs in lower plants and animals. Now, these are the different types of asexual reproduction: fission, budding, regeneration, spore formation, vegetative propagation. And there is no fusion of gametes taking place. And why, if the question is asked, why the organisms or offspring, they are termed as clone? So, simple answer will be because they are not identical to with their one another and with the parents. That's why they are called clones. Many times they are not termed as offspring, they are termed as clones. This is the reason. Fission is very common in unicellular organisms. Nucleus divided into two daughter nuclei. There is no spindle formation, and one parent cell is divided into two daughter cells. If it is, then it is termed as binary fission. And binary fission is very common in amoeba, while multiple fission is common in Plasmodium. That is malarial parasite. In this, simple thing happens. See, a single parent cell develops a thick wall called cyst. You can see in the diagram also, and continuously mitotic division takes place many times and it produces many daughter cells. Okay, and each daughter cell with cytoplasm develop its own cell wall and become spores. And under favorable condition, these spores are released and they develop into new individual. Budding is common in unicellular plants and even multicellular animals also. In yeast, budding takes place, and in Hydra also, budding takes place. In this simple thing, what happened? A projection grows. It may be in a form of chain, and after that, those buds get detached from the mother body and develop into a new organism. Now, vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation means when any vegetative part, that is root, stem, leaves, these are used for the reproduction. It may be natural or artificial. Okay, like the example of potato. Okay, so potato eyes, or we can say tuber, it is an underground stem. Runner means it has adventitious root and aerial shoot at each node. Just see the diagram. It helps to spread the grass quickly on the large area. This is strawberry. Even in grass also you must have seen that it continues to grow in full ground. There is no need to do any efforts. It grow by themselves only because they have adventitious root and aerial shoot at each node. So, which helps in the spreading of grass. Now, after that, bryophyllum. See, bryophyllum do the vegetative propagation with the help of leaves. there is a bud present at the notches of the leaves, and when it comes in contact with the soil, it develops into a new plant. And grafting, now see, grafting is a simple method, that is an artificial vegetative propagation, in which two different types of plants are taken, means different quality. Stem of disease resistant but with less production, poor production, and lower part, okay, that lower part you are seeing, and that is termed as stalk, and the upper part is of good production, same plant with a good production, that is termed as scion, and both are joined and tied, okay, and the new plant grows with good yield, means that the new organism which is developing will have both the quality, disease resistant also and good production also. Tissue culture is a technique to develop plants quickly from mature plant cell. In this, root cells are taken, okay, and then it is sterilized in a nutrient medium. Obviously, when I am saying nutrient medium, means it gives nourishment to that particular cell so that it will multiply. And after that, tissues grows in a cell. That cluster is termed as callus. And then it is taken in a sterile flask mixed with growth hormone. Okay, it is mixed with a artificial growth hormone which is already present in plants normally. But here, since we are culturing artificially, so we are taking that callus and we are mixing it with the growth hormone. Once the growth hormone, it is getting, so by name only you will understand that growth hormone. So it will help in the growth of the tissue. So cluster cells obtained with roots and shoot. Once the root and shoot is developed, and it is transferred to the pot where they grow and flourish. So that's all with today's session. In next session, we are going to do some other topics. Thank you. Have a nice day.